Hi everybody, Alex here from Expert Forex, and on your screen you can see the previous video about the $1 million Forex EA that we're currently working on to find robust and meaningful settings. Now in this previous video we found some settings that were really good and generated millions and millions of dollars of income, but those were highly optimized settings. They were also generated using the genetic algorithm, which is not the greatest tool, but it is a good tool for breaking zillions of options down to a small number. In this particular video, we're going to show you how to then take this initial test, optimization test, which is actually, and you'll see, of very low quality, and turn it into high quality, robust, meaningful settings, as well as data ranges that are robust and give you a big chance of making an error and still being highly profitable. So this is quite a meaningful video, and it is the second phase that EA testing should go through. A lot of traders stop at phase one, which is really low quality information, and they do not move into the second phase, which adds considerable value and adds a lot of quality to the information and data that you're getting from your optimization runs. For many traders, this will be highly technical, but for those who have experience with optimization or have done some optimization, you might find this pretty interesting and an unusual approach. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so now we're going to go into the second phase of refining the settings to find the most robust settings for this particular EA. Now, there has been a run done, and as you can see, the top run has resulted in 33 million being generated. So I'm going to start with that particular run. And how I do that is the run is complete. I'm actually going to stop the run because it's actually done more than the designated number of tests. You can see we've done a lot of tests. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the number or that particular number. It's just too big. But we have sufficient tests done. Now the problem with these tests, as you can see, we've tested zillions of possibilities. We've selected 10,000 out of that whole lot and come to some conclusion. So the test is marred by extreme sampling and also marred by too big a sample. So the next phase that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reducing the sample size dramatically, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to dramatically, and I'm going to try and increase that number at the same time. It may not happen, but it won't go down, but it certainly will. We will have a much smaller sample size in the future, and a smaller sample size means that the conclusions are of better value. And so the next phase of the testing is that the objective is to create a better sampling population that has higher quality outcomes and more and zero sampling. So what I'm going to do, you'll see, I'm not going to use the genetic algorithm at all. I'm going to do full testing on most of the settings. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to save the setting. So the best setting is 33 million. So I set it as input. That takes it and puts it into the input over here. I then run it without optimization. I then run it, and it should come out at 33 million. Yes, it's come out as 33 million. So what I then do is I go and save that value. We don't want to lose that. So we go to the Make Money, and I'm just going to call it, this is just a temporary file, so it's million one. because this is only the start of the testing. So I'll say that. So now we've got that saved. If something happens, we can always come back to this. So the first step now is to actually now test these settings one by one. So what I'm going to do is I delete the ticks in all of the tested amounts settings before, and you can see we've tested a huge amount here. We've tested about 20 settings all at the same time, and that's basically just to get a starting point. Okay, so we've got our starting point, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to take it straight from the top. I'm going to just test one at a time. I'm going to say, let's have a look how robust. The answer here was 15. I'm going to run that whole sample without the genetic algorithm. I'm going to run it without that and see how many of those settings over there are actually acceptable settings. In other words, nicely profitable, that can be grouped very nicely. So there we are. We're going to run that. We say okay, everything's fine. We go optimization. Now we only run it. We're going to test about 30 items, I think. Yeah, 33 items, and it's going to take less than a minute to run that test. So off we go. And the process that I'm going to follow, that you're going to see now, is what I'm going to follow on every single setting. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. So we can start looking at the results so far. We can see that there's pretty good groupings. We've even found better settings. Now, part of why I'm doing this is to find better settings. And we have now found settings that generate 52 million over there. So that's pretty good. We've got a few other 51s here. We've got another 52 there. In general, not well balanced, but let's see what the outcome looks like. And I'm going to just increase the size so we can see a little bit better. Certainly that is where the clump is. There's more or less where the clump is. That's actually a bigger clump there. So what we're looking for now are past numbers that are very close to each other. So 15, 14, 30, that's the kind of clump we're looking for. Let's have a look. If we go for 16, where's 16 is quite a big drop. 16 and 12, where's 12 is right there. So 12, 13, 14, 15 is a good clump. And 11 is right there. So, and that's what I like. I want at least 5 numbers. So 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 seem to be a nice clump that gives a reasonable return. So I'm going to do 2 things here. I'm not going to go for the biggest one because it's not part of a clump. 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. If we go 5, 6, 7, 8. Where's 9 and 9? That's also pretty close as a clump, but I think that one wins. In fact, what you should do is actually just add them all up and see which clump is the strongest clump. What I'm going to do also is a look at the moving averages. All the moving averages in this clump are around about the 40 mark. All the other moving averages are around about the 21 mark. And I think that might sway me. The fact that they're low, it allows less deviation, as it were. 6, 5 is also a low number, and 4 is also. So let's just have a look. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to go for that clump because of the readings being lower. So we're looking at from 12. Let's just see if this is actually right. 4 is 12, 5 is 15, 6 is 18. Yeah, that's actually correct. So we're going to go from 12 setting of 12. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can actually go to 10 too. So from 12 to 30 is what we can reduce the settings by. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So from 12, can you see how many possibilities I've now reduced it by? 12 to 30, I said. Okay, so we're reducing the number of tests, plus we're going to take the best setting and put it in there. So let's go back to the results. So okay, in the meantime we go back to the results and we take the best setting, which is number 7, which is 21. So 21. So remember, our best result so far was 33 million. Now if we run that without optimization, it is going to come to 51 million. So we've 52 million. Okay, so we've increased the outcome of our test considerably by doing this test, and we've also found a clump of profitable settings. Now I'm going to do the next ones, and all of this will start making a lot more sense to you as we go along. So I've finished that one. That's now finalized. I'm going to go to the second one, and we're going to do the same process. We want to find a clump that's nicely profitable for the second setting. So we just go okay, we optimize it, and away we go. Can you see we're reducing the number of possibilities that we are testing dramatically, and we are also finding neighbors, settings with good results but have a lot of neighbors. So if we get the setting wrong, we'll still be highly profitable. So that's the whole objective of this phase of the settings, of refining the settings. Objective: better results with a more refined population that we're testing. Because the previous one was done on the genetic algorithm, you can see millions and millions and millions of alternatives were missed. You can see we're not using the algorithm now, so not that many settings are being, or we're actually not missing any. We're actually testing 100% within the population. All right, so it's almost finished, and the runs are about a minute, so it doesn't take too long. And I'm going slowly because obviously I'm verbalizing everything, but when I do it myself, I go a lot faster. Okay, so here we have another clump of settings that were nicely so we're looking for numbers, the best 5 numbers that we can find. So let's have a look at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seems to be good. But the problem with 4 with that is that 4 is on the outside. For instance, 3 is right over there. So 4 is in fact a risky one because it can fall from 54 million right down to 5 million. So it's a huge fall. So that in fact is what one can call a risky number. So let's have a look at the next clump. So the next clump could be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And the beauty of that one is that you've got 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12's in the middle, 13, 14, 15. So you've got a nice clump, and the best setting is in the middle of the clump. So again, you want a clump where if you get it wrong, you'll still hit some really nice settings. So I'm actually going to go for that group there, which runs from 9 to 15. So let's have a look at 9. 9 is 27 and 15 is 45. So I'm just going to write that down, 27 to 45. So we're going to put that in, and the middle one is 36, which is actually fantastic. All right, so I'm going to make those changes. I hope you can get a feel of, I hope you're getting a feel of what I'm doing now. So that number becomes 36, that number becomes 27, and that number becomes 45. Now you can see we've just cut off hundreds, we've literally cut off millions of testing amounts by doing what we've done now, and we've put the value up, because now if we run this, our previous best was 52,700,000. Let's run this again. 52.7 was our best. Let's see what this comes out to. Oh, I might have done it. Yeah, no, I did it correctly. So we've added another million. You can see it's 53.6, roughly a million that we've added. So far the process has gone pretty well. Now I'm going to skip. Normally I would complete this process as you've just seen, but what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you another aspect that I'm going to be doing in this particular phase. Is I group settings sometimes like that. So I'm going to do the first MA and the second MA together to see if there are any ones that we can eliminate out of here that could be not that good, and it will also prove that these settings are still the best. So we're going to do these now together. So we go OK, and because we've eliminated a lot of the numbers, we're not going to have hundreds. It's going to run for about a minute, I guess. Let's have a look. Yeah, 1 minute 30, so it's 1.5 minutes. It's going to test almost 50 alternatives. Now note, I am not missing any alternatives, so I'm using all the alternatives that there are, and what I want to see if there are any weaknesses in the numbers that we've just brought through. So let's have a look. Okay, so the lowest is about 32 million, the highest is 50. It should be 53 later on. There's our 53 coming. So now I'm going to show you something quite interesting, because we could now view, because we've got two settings that have just run, we can view these on a heat map, and that's what we're going to do. As soon as it's finished, we're going to look at it on the heat map and see where the biggest concentration of good settings lie. I think it's only, there's 49, so we've still got a few to go. But let's go straight to the heat map. And how you get to the heat map is you just click on 3. All right, so what it's telling us, you can see the heat map's pretty good. It's telling this block is the most positive, that block's positive, and that block's positive. So if you were to choose which block to go for, let's have a look what this works out to be. All right, that's it. So now the trick is, which setting would you choose, or which area on this graph would you choose if you were to put select settings? Now I can tell you right now, where my cursor is there is the best setting, because if you get that one wrong, you can go 2 this way and 1 each way this way and still be highly profitable. Up here you've only got 3. Here you've got 4, here you've got 3. So if you have a setting somewhere over here, you're still going to run into less profitable settings if you use that as your base, or that as your base. We don't know what's above here, so that, and then here there's only 3. So certainly that's where the biggest concentration is. So if you had to choose settings here, you would choose 24 and 33. I'm just going to write that down. 24 and 33. Now, those settings may not give you the best results. Best results might come from there somewhere. But they will give you the most robust results. And this is what this part of the test is all about, is to find these robustness areas. Now, I'm not going to change any values right now. I'm noting down that so far 24 and 33 appears to be the most robust settings. And then we do have a batch here that doesn't look good. Now, how do we eliminate this batch here? We can either only test up to 39. That's one way of eliminating that batch. But we can't really cut anything out on this side, because if we eliminate anything there, we lose our most profitable batch. So one of the things here is to say, all right, well, maybe we shouldn't go higher than 39 on this particular setting, 39. So let's have a look at how that impacts our settings. You see 39, so we're saying we won't go higher than 39 on that one. And I'm actually going to change it, 39. And let's have a look on the other one. That's. See, here's a lot of. We could eliminate most probably 12 and 15 and start at 18. So I'm going to look at that 12 and start at 18. So that's, you see, now we're eliminating even more of the range. As long as there's a good range between these, and there is a good range between them, it's still quite good. Now remember, this actually should be 24 and that should be 33, but let's just run this. It should be round about that number there. If we run it now, that's the number, 53,600,000. Now let's just, for instance, put in, and I'm not going to do it right now, let's put, if we put 24 and 33 in here, okay, and run that. Now let's see if we won't get a better number, but we'll get a more robust number. So let's have a look. All right, so that isn't so much of a downside. So I'm actually going to go with those settings because they, as we've seen, are more robust. And to prove to you that they are more robust, I'm just going to run the optimization again. This time it will run a lot faster because we've eliminated quite a number there. See, now it's now down from 50 to 25. And let's have a look at the optimization chart now. And you'll see that we can still do a bit more optimization or a bit more cleaning up here, but this is fine. This is good. So there's the number 2433. We want to see dark green around that area. Okay, can you? I hope you're getting an idea of how one finds robust settings. Robust settings are basically just settings that, if you get them wrong, you have a good chance of still being nicely positive. That's what robust settings are all about. So certainly that little area there is quite robust, and we could even eliminate 39 out of that grouping. But we'll just leave it for now. But certainly those settings are the most robust. Now, okay, this video has already gone on quite a long time, and I'm not going to bore you by showing you all the rest. But those are the principles. So the principles are: you do one line at a time, eliminate find a block that is gives really good results. Then you do another line, you also find a block that gives you really good results. Then you do them together and you refine it even more, and by the time you finished, you've got robust setting there, and a nice enough range. The range should always be around about 5 units, ideally 5 to 4 units at the least, and here we've still got quite a nice range, so it means we can get these wrong and still be nicely positive. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do all the rest. I'm going to do the ADX the same way, the trigger level the same way, and so on and so on. So I'm going to do it. It does take a long time, but it is well worth it. What I then will do is rerun this whole test, and I will rerun it on the genetic algorithm, but this time the numbers that will be tested will be very, very low, and also the settings that will be in here will be robust settings. So we'll get the idea is to get green, really nice green carpets, I call them, or heat maps, that tell us that we have robust settings throughout. There are going to be certain settings that are not robust. So in other words, they don't have neighbors that are screamingly profitable around them. Now, those are the high risk settings, and then sometimes you need those green heat maps to tell you, hey, maybe look somewhere completely different to find settings that are more robust. So you'll drop in profitability, but your reliability of the settings will increase dramatically. So I'm not going to bore you by going through all the rest. I'll do the rest and then give you an overview of what I've done, and we'll rerun that. And so as you can see, true optimization and true robust testing does take a long time. You have to be thorough. You have to give it a lot more thought than just plain optimization. But the strangest thing is that through this process you can actually get better setting. One of the tricks about this setting too is that if you find settings that come out and they're hitting the head against the top there, like for instance, here's a setting, the best setting was 60, and we're only testing to 60. So what that is telling us is that we should be testing 70. We should be testing to 70. So that's another thing that I'm going to be doing, is if I do find a situation like that, I will increase the range that we testing. So that's another thing that happens in this particular stage. We reassess the ranges that are being tested. Just having a look at the length of this particular video, I think at this point I'm going to stop this particular video. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, and we will cover the overview of this testing in the next video, and then what we are going to do next after doing this robustness test to finalize potential settings that we want to test on a live basis. In other words, forward trade some of these settings. So I hope I've given you some ideas about how to refine your optimization processes by adding a lot more robustness testing to them. From me, Alex Deployer, an expert Forex, cheerio.